I'm with the Lexus Challenge 2025 winner, Aidric Chan. Aidric, congratulations on a phenomenal performance. What's going through your mind?
Thanks, Ken. I couldn't be more happy. I'm happy to get my first professional win internationally, of course, with ADT. It's always been on my bucket list to win a professional event and an international event. So, those kind of just ticked off two of those.
And how does it feel to win with your family here? Your mother, I understand your mother, your aunt, and your cousin are here.
I think it felt good. My cousin and I are about the same age. We've competed golf a lot, and our moms are sisters. So it's kind of like we've already come in a package, which is kind of cool. And having them out here, they were like my biggest support this week. They were like my energy. They're giving out so much energy just from outside of the course, and I could just feel it.
And when did you decide that you would bring the family? Because you've obviously played with us since last year, but is it the first time that you bring your family?
No, actually they've come with me for actually my best two finishes, both in Vietnam. So my mom and my dad were with me. My dad was on the bag when I came in second in Vietnam last year, and then of course my mom was with me this year getting the win. So deciding that, it's just schedule. They were free this week. They're happy to be here. I'm happy they're here too.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, on the topic of Vietnam, obviously you started off very well last year in Vietnam. You finished second place. You weren't quite sure what the flight ahead of you had scored. I remember being there, and when you realized that Rahil Ganji won, you stayed back and cheered for him during the prize giving ceremony. Just talk us through that.
For one of the things my school, I remember, would try to say is, we try to cheer for the winner that goes by. It's not really for us to wish bad from them, maybe get inspiration or anything, but I think I really enjoyed just seeing a veteran win and how he holds himself up, and I think that's how I want to hold myself up, having a win, like being humble, greeting everybody, just being an inspiration to other golfers. Not just in the Philippines, but if internationally, I'd love to be an inspiration for golfers in Southeast Asia.
Yeah, nice. Great sportsmanship. And again, today you played with a veteran, Juvic from Philippines. Is this the first time you played with him?
Honestly, I'm not too sure. I thought I played with him before. I couldn't recall, but definitely the first time getting a chat out of him. I was actually learning from him a lot. He was playing really well. I think he was 400 through 9 holes. We could see his shots. Me and Jonathan Mihono were just admiring the shots that he'd take. I was surprised somebody would hit a driver iron off almost a 600-yard par 5 and still make birdie as easy as anyone who'd go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I'm sure you would have grown up watching him now.
Yeah, a little bit, not a lot. Not a lot of local events that we could have watched. So.
Okay. All right. Now let's talk about the Lexus Challenge itself. What are your thoughts on the event and the venue?
Oh, the event was well run. The course was amazing. You don't see a lot of links course in the Philippines, yet on top of that, well maintained. I enjoyed getting that European vibe that's been brought over here to Southeast Asia. I've enjoyed having that feel, and maybe it will help us in the future if wherever we play.
Yeah. Have you ever played in such conditions where the wind is so strong?
I have, but not out in the open, if that would make sense. Actually, it was in the ADT Ambassador last year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was a little more windier, but with the trees blocking the way, it wouldn't affect our putts as much. But over here, that's one thing for sure. I've never used the wind as my main source of telling where the ball was going to go. So, yeah.
Interesting. And talk us through your round today. You obviously had a lot of good birdies. Then you had an eagle on 14. Talk us through that.
I started off pretty good. I birdied the first hole. I had a really good look on number 2 for birdie. I thought if I get that, it would kind of keep me going. I didn't get that one, but throughout the game, I was honestly trying to keep up with Juvic, and I think if I was close enough to him wish he was having a hot start. You know, I'd definitely also be on top of the leaderboard with him. Unfortunately, made that double on 12, but that hole out on 14 was a different story. I mean, after making that hole out, I thought I'd still be catching like 2 more strokes and trying to, you know, get back at that. But fortunately enough, I was already on top of the leaderboard, and you know, I kept my poise. Same story. Tried to birdie with Juvic on 16, 17. Unfortunately, he made that bogey on 18. So that's where I got my extra boost.
And after the eagle on 15, you got into a bit of trouble.
Yeah, on 15, I blocked my shot to the right. You know, I was really trying to keep it right because I think going left was a little tough. But I mean, both ways is going to be a tough one. But I think I was lucky enough to get a 2-putt out of there. Definitely putting from the front of the green. If I'm not mistaken, I remember having 42 paces from front to back, and that was definitely another good thing about today was that putt definitely saved me.
Did you put extra pressure on yourself, thinking I've got to make this bogey? I've just shot eagle. I don't want to lose the 2 strokes.
Maybe a little bit. You know, Jonathan was actually asking me a little bit of how I was feeling. You know, I was just telling him I was enjoying myself out there. I didn't feel as much pressure as my last putt, like leading up to that. But you know, I mean, I think that's one of the bonuses of you coming from behind instead of holding that lead.
Yeah, that's true. And how conscious were you of the flight behind you with Sam and Philippe?
I was conscious enough to know that if I birdied the last 3 was my goal, I'd have a good chance of winning. I birdied the last 2, and you know, like I said, if I birdied the last 3, that would be like an easy kind of calmer win. But you know, with that pin on the last hole, it was pretty tricky.
Did you know what they were at in terms of their scores?
I think
when
I
you
did.
teed off?
I believe I did. I looked at it before I teed off on hole number 17. We were at 7, and then I birdied it, so I thought I was going to be up in the lead or tied because they haven't gone through that hole. But I mean, that hole number 17 was also another story. Blocked it outright, way in the desert, like really close to the OB stones right there, and then just got it to like about 5 feet. So.
Well, you always need a bit of luck to win events, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then Sam and Philippe Sam especially was in great position. Philippe also had a great chance. What was going through your mind at this moment?
Honestly, I was, my cousin Carl was actually asking me, like, you want to warm up? And like, honestly, I'm not that kind of guy. If ever, I'll just putt. I did putt, and I was actually getting ready because I think if ever I'd have a playoff, putting would be one of the most crucial things ever. You know, I said that if they both make birdie, which is definitely possible from coming from the green, I think we all deserve a playoff because everyone's playing well this week. So, you know, I mean, 1 stroke's all we need. So, I mean, that's where we got the boost.
Fantastic. Now you're wearing the national uniform, right? For the amateur team.
Yes.
Talk us through that.
I've always enjoyed wearing my national uniform team, just because it has the flag on. You know, I don't have to put up anything on it. I think, you know, just bringing this around with me just feels like, you know, I'm competing for something bigger. You know, for the growth of the game locally. You know, I mean, a lot of good pros out there in the Philippines. You know, they just don't have that chance yet to compete internationally. But I think there's a lot of international calibers who are stuck competing back at home.
Fantastic. And on the sponsor, tell us a little bit about your sponsor.
I'd like to shout out to January's Golf, January's Holdings. They've done such a good job, you know, helping us, you know, just get through our expenses. And, you know, not just that, we have a whole group of guys able to play, like, you know, we're out there supporting each other. Okay,
so somewhat before we close it off, anything you'd like to say with regards to the organization, VGA Corp, the production, anything you'd like to share to Vietnam?
Yeah, definitely. I'd like to thank VGA. I mean, you know, you guys are helping a lot with the growth of the game here in Southeast Asia. I don't think, like I told Ken off camera, I'm really happy how much media you guys bring in here. There's not a lot of golf, or not even just golf, like other sports that get a lot of media coverage, and with that, you know, the game's gonna grow. it's like, it's also just like, you know, helping us be more inspired to show others what we got. And, you know, through ADT, I mean, I'm definitely happy that you guys chose like different locations, different venues. I mean, it's not just, you know, growing the game in one area. I mean, before, I mean, it used to be just like a couple places, but now it's everywhere. They've even Asian Tour just coming into the Philippines this year. I mean, we were really happy about that. ADT going to Pakistan, Cambodia, Malaysia, like number of places. But, you know, thank you everyone for, you know, being able to grow the game and how everyone's getting to be a part of it.
And now with this win, what do you think you'll do with regards to your schedule? Because you've obviously got playing opportunities on the main tour, the Asian Tour, but now you're in the winners category in ADT. What's the plan?
Definitely, you know, I'm definitely gonna keep playing the ADT. I mean, you know, like me and my friends always talk about how good the event in Da Nang is, and you know, there's definitely some schedules that will open up. Like if Asian Tour doesn't have one, they'll definitely play ADT. But you know, as you know, right now that I'm sitting right at top, like close to the top of ADT ranking. I mean, I'd love to play it more and secure that card because, you know, Asian Tour is the dream right now, just playing around close to home and, you know, like I said, inspiring other golfers close to home.
Okay, so just to, I think for the Vietnamese listeners or viewers, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your age, where you grew up, where you went to college?
Yeah, I'm Aidric Jose Chan. I'm from the Philippines. I'm 24 years old. I went to University of Arizona. I personally think Vietnamese food is one of the most underrated, super good food ever. I mean, I love Japanese food, but I think Vietnamese food is almost up there. I mean, you guys have the banh mi, the pho, the rice meals, and I mean, I'm gonna shout out my bun cha. I think it's my favorite meal. I had that last night, so yeah.
Okay, and I think all the Vietnamese women will be wondering, are you single?
No, I am not. I am not, no, but you know, I mean,
I knew that because she came to the
yeah,
to Vietnam
went
last year.
to VRG. She loves supporting too. You know, she's out busy right now, but I hope she comes back soon and supports.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I wish you the very best.
Thank you.
Yeah?
Thank
Cheers.
you, Ken. Thank
All
you.
the best.